Hello and shalom. This is Rivkah Asoulin, founder and executive director of Ancient Roots Israel. Ancient Roots Israel is the first international herbal conference and community in Israel. Today, I would like to address an issue that I've been asked many, many times, and that is how to make garlic oil. Here's my helper in the kitchen. Garlic oil. And one of our children woke up this morning with an earache. And so the first thing that I reach for when my children have an earache is some garlic oil. And it's easy to make fresh and fast every day. So I'm going to turn the camera and show you what you will need to begin. You will need a cutting board, a knife, a head of garlic, a frying pan, the smaller the better, and some olive oil. This is a special high quality olive oil made and given to us by friends, so it is not in an olive oil bottle, but you can use any olive oil. So yeah. So my helpers and I will work together and chop up this garlic. We're going to peel the garlics. We're going to thinly slice the garlics, and I will start the camera again once we've got that done. Okay, so we have completed thinly slicing. Some slices are thinner than others, but you can see that I've thinly sliced. Yeah. I've thinly sliced the garlics, and they're going to kind of break apart. They might look thick here, but they actually are thinly sliced, if you can see that. Okay, and I'm just going to cover them, just barely cover them with oil. Okay, so I'm going to show you about how much oil I'm pouring in. I'm doing this through the phone, but not a massive amount, just enough to cover or barely cover.
I know that oil is really cute. Like a baby.
The oil's really cute, like a baby. Okay, so now we are going to take it. It's yucky oil. It has a very strong olivey smell, this oil. Okay, so we're going to take our little pan over to the flame. You think it smells good? I think it smells really strongly of olive. So I'm going to light this fire, but I need 2 hands for that. Okay, so I have it on a nice, reasonable fire, and I'm going to bring this to a simmer, and I'm just going to break apart. You can see these garlics that I thinly sliced. I'm just going to break them apart, and I'm going to let that simmer until the garlics become translucent. Now, you don't want burned garlic, but if you do happen to burn some of your garlic, it doesn't necessarily mean that your oil is no good. But the idea is putting it under a low flame, and I'm using my smallest burner and my smallest pot. I'm just going to keep my eye on it, and as the garlic starts to macerate and become soft and translucent, I'm just going to press it down with the back of my wooden spoon to make it mushy, kind of to get a mush in there, and that will help increase the surface area of the herb. And once it's gotten to that mushy consistency and I pressed it down a lot, I'm going to leave it until I'm going to first turn off the heat source. I'm going to leave it sitting in that hot oil and let it cool. You can see it's starting to bubble up now. So once it's gotten to that mushy, translucent stage, I'm just going to let it cool. And once the oil's cooled, I'm going to strain off the garlic and strain the oil into a container or some kind of, glass container, I prefer. And I can apply just a couple of drops in each affected ear of my children, which I will show you in a bit how I do that. of that cooled oil. I can warm it in my hand. Like I could put the oil into a syringe or into a dropper and just kind of warm it in my hand first. So it's not, I'm going to turn down the heat here. So it's not, we don't want it to fry. And the mark, okay, that's the discarded garlic that's going to be left over. You can eat that and it's absolutely delicious. I like to serve that on bread and have a nice garlic bread. And for somebody that's dealing with an ear infection or a cold or anything else, eating garlic is such a great way to fight colds, flu, and other infections. So it's a really healthy thing where everything gets used and nothing gets wasted or thrown away, which is the best way to make medicine, in my humble opinion. So I'm just going to keep that temperature really low and keep stirring it so we don't risk frying it. Okay, so just an update. This is about a 20-minute process, but we're starting to get to the translucent stage. I don't know if you can see that. I'm trying to grab one for you. A little bit tricky, but we're starting to get there. You can start to see through it. Can you see that? So we carry on. Okay, so I splashed a little bit of oil out because my pan is not weighted well, this tiny pan. So I'm going to press gently, but you can see when I press the back of the garlics, they kind of just mush together, and that's what I want. So I've now taken the garlic off the heat, and the garlic will sit there until it cools, and then I will place it through a strainer and eat the garlic and use the oil as eardrops. I like to keep the oil in the fridge, especially during the summer, but during the winter I've found that I can leave it out, and you should use this all up within a reasonable amount of time. It could be days, it could be weeks, careful honey, but just realize that, hang on, that it can go, you know, if it goes rancid, you're gonna smell that change of smell. So you always want to smell it first and make sure that it's nice and fresh. And we're just putting 1 to 3 drops in the ear, especially depending on age. If you were using this on a very small child or a baby, 1 drop is probably plenty. And what you're going to do is rest the child's head on your lap and put the drops into the ear, and then you're going to massage down the side of their ear. And I will demonstrate for you in a bit once we get this cooled down and strained. Okay, so we have just strained the oil from the garlic, and the garlic is great for eating. I'm going to probably just enjoy that even on a spoon right now. And I have this oil, and I'm going to transfer it into my little dropper bottle over there, and we'll be ready to go. Just a little reminder before I do that, I used the back of my wooden spoon and pressed the mark to get out every last drop of oil. And I'm going to do that a few more times before I strain it. Okay, so you know that I love the tasting videos. So here we go. Rivkah Asoulin melech haolam shekol niyeh b'dvaro. Nothing like garlic. It's so, this garlic that's macered in oil, it's so mellow. It has such a mellow flavor. You can put it on anything. You could put it on potatoes, bread, crackers, whatever. It's so fun to eat and so health promoting. Yum. One more special note about the garlic is if you eat a large amount of that garlic and oil, you may find that it has a very laxative effect. So, FYI. Okay.
Stop.
Okay, 2 drops. Hang on. Hang on. Does it hurt? It does. Okay, so we're just gonna massage gently. It'll go away soon. Usually it's very relaxing for my kids, but Amelia is pretty nervous right now. And I'll do a little bit of massage here and here. And we just kind of sit with that for a few minutes or for a few seconds. And then she'll flip over and we'll do the other side. I always do this on a towel so that when the child flips over, if any of the drops come out of the oil, they'll just fall on a cloth and they won't destroy any clothes or furniture. We put drops in your ears and you felt that it hurt. I think that might be because your ears are hurting though. But we put the drops in your ears, and now what are you doing? You're doing what?
I want to go on an iPad.
What?
I want to go on an iPad.
You want to go on an iPad?
Yeah!
Okay. How are you doing now? Are your ears hurting now?
No.
No? Did it help? Do your ears feel better now? It's still a little bit hurting?
Yeah.
Okay. But it's not hurting as much as before? Yeah? Okay. Okay, so I have the garlic oil right here. And like I said, if it's super, super hot and you don't have any air conditioning, you may want to put this into your fridge. But otherwise, you can leave it out like you would any other olive oil. And you just want to smell it and make sure that it hasn't gone rancid. You'll smell if it's a little bit off. And typically, you know, I try to use this up, you know, quickly and make a fresh batch. And sometimes if I find like the ear infection's gone away after a few days of this, which is typical, hang on, babe, then I will use the rest of the garlic oil on salads or on bread or whatever, and we eat it. It's food. So I take all the precautions I would when I make food in my kitchen, when I'm making the garlic oil, and I consider that it can also be used as an immune boosting food as well. As far as how many times to, 1 second, honey, as far as how many times to put this in the child's ear, I would use it a few times throughout the day. It just depends. And obviously you'll have to do your own research about what you are most comfortable with. And as you can see, my video is ending here. Hope you enjoyed.